You know when you flip a switch, the lights just come on. It's that simple, right? We totally take it for granted. But what if one day they didn't? The system that powers our entire world, the electrical grid, is going through this huge transformation. It's getting smarter, it's getting more connected, and you guessed it, it's getting a lot more vulnerable. So let's talk about the hidden war that's being fought over that very light switch.
And look, this isn't some sci-fi movie plot for the future. This is happening right now, and it's escalating at a really alarming rate. The bad guys aren't just targeting websites anymore, they're aiming straight for the foundations of our society. And we've got the data to prove it.
Get a load of this number, 34%. Yeah, that is the staggering increase in ransomware attacks against our most critical industries in just a single year. This is not a slow burn, it is a full-on digital assault.
And the scale of this whole thing? It's just stunning. A full 50%, half, of all global ransomware attacks are now aimed squarely at the sectors that are absolutely vital to our national resilience. Just let that sink in. 1 out of every 2 major attacks is specifically designed to cause the most chaos possible in our daily lives.
So, who's in the crosshairs? Well, it's a list of exactly who you'd fear. We're talking about the factories that build our stuff, the hospitals that take care of us when we're sick, the energy sector that literally powers our homes, the transportation that gets us from A to B, and the financial services that, run the entire economy. These aren't just companies. These are the absolute pillars of our society.
What this all means is that the game has completely changed. We are way past the days when a cyber attack was just some IT headache for a single company. Now, a single breach can become this coordinated, strategic threat that's capable of destabilizing an entire nation.
Okay, so where is this new battle being fought? It's happening on the new digital frontier of our most essential infrastructure, the power grid. It's being rapidly modernized into something that's way smarter and also way more vulnerable.
So we have this new battlefield, right? The smart grid. It's a term you hear thrown around all the time. But what does it actually mean when the system that powers our lives suddenly gets smart?
Really, at its core, it's about taking our old analog power grid and giving it a two-way digital nervous system. It lets the grid get feedback and make little adjustments in real time. That's fantastic for efficiency, right? But that digital layer, well, that's where all the danger is hiding.
See, every single new connection, every smart meter on your house, every sensor out there, it adds a potential new doorway for an attacker. The National Institute of Standards and Technology, or NIST, they've pointed out that all this interconnectedness dramatically increases our data exposure, introduces brand new security flaws that never existed before, and creates massive new privacy risks from all that data being collected.
And if you want to know just how personal this data can get, just listen to this quote. A representative from Siemens, a company that actually makes this tech, said that from your energy use alone, they can figure out the most intimate details of your life. It's a pretty stark reminder of what's actually flowing through these new digital power lines.
So the weak spots are pretty clear. But what actually happens if someone successfully breaks in? The consequences aren't just digital. They are very, very real, physical, and societal.
A successful attack? It could bring manufacturing to a dead stop, completely severing trade routes. It could shatter market confidence, threatening our whole economic stability. Even scarier, it could put public health and safety at risk by shutting down hospitals and transportation. And with every single attack, the public's trust in our ability to protect ourselves just chips away.
So who are we actually up against here? Well, the NIST report breaks it down into 3 main groups. We are not just talking about some lone hacker in a basement. We're facing highly organized, well-funded nation-states. And then, maybe the most insidious of all, is the insider threat. People who already have the keys and choose to misuse them.
Okay, so the situation is pretty serious, I get it, but it's not all doom and gloom. There is a plan. Cybersecurity experts have developed a pretty sophisticated strategy to defend this critical infrastructure.
The whole philosophy is called defense in depth, and it's a really simple but powerful idea. Basically, you don't rely on one single perfect defense. Instead, you build layers of security so that if one layer fails, another one is right there to stop the attack. It's the digital version of a medieval castle.
NIST breaks this strategy down into 3 key steps. First, you define your security domains. That's kind of like drawing a map of your castle and figuring out which rooms hold the crown jewels. Second, you create those layered defenses. This means using a whole bunch of tools, like firewalls, which are like digital gatekeepers, and strong cryptography, which scrambles your data so it's just gibberish to intruders. And third, you decide how strong those defenses need to be, matching their strength to how important the asset is. You're not just building one wall, you're building a fortress, and you put your best guards at the treasury.
And what is all this defending trying to do? Well, it all boils down to these three goals. Confidentiality, which is keeping our data private, integrity, making sure the data can't be secretly changed, and availability, making sure the system is always on when we need it. For the power grid, you better believe availability is everything.
But here's the honest truth about cybersecurity. There is no finish line. Protection isn't a state you just achieve and then you're done. It's a process, a constant, ongoing race.
The real goal here is what we call cyber resilience. And that's not about building some impenetrable wall, because, let's be real, that's impossible. It's about building a system that can take a punch, absorb the damage, and get back on its feet quickly, all while keeping the most critical functions running. It's a continuous, relentless race against a threat that is always evolving.
And this brings us to the final and most critical challenge. The very same technology that promises us a smarter, more efficient future is also building the battlefield of tomorrow. As we connect everything from our cars to our coffee makers, we're not just adding convenience, we're adding vulnerabilities. So the real question for all of us isn't just about balancing convenience and security, it's about deciding what price we're actually willing to pay for progress when the lights go out.